we got a call for an ejection on the interstate, and we were traveling on that interstate at that time. So we were like, okay, so it's right here. We're here. Where is it? My partner actually had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting what was the patient, essentially.
Wow.
But there was not much of a patient because he had been ejected from a car and then struck by a semi and then hit by several other vehicles. And this was like 2 days before Christmas.
Soundtrack.
Welcome to In Service, the EMS podcast, where frontline experience meets leadership insight. Hosted by Jason Falvey, a seasoned paramedic and EMS leader with over 30 years in the field. This show brings you conversations with people shaping emergency medical services today. From street-level medics to innovators on the bleeding edge of EMS, we dive into real stories, leadership strategies, and what it takes to build high-performing teams in high-stakes environments. Let's get in service.
We copy it down, Eagle.
On this episode of In Service, I get to sit down with three people I know very well, our EMS supervisors, the backbone of our operation. These are the folks who make things happen behind the scenes and on the streets. They've seen it all, handled it all, and somehow keep a sense of humor through the long shifts and late nights. We're talking shop today, leadership, lessons learned, and the reality of being the ones everyone turns to when things get tough. I'm proud to work alongside them, and I'm excited to introduce Shane Dover, Hoover Sermons, and Mark McDonald. Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming in tonight. This is a very unique experience because I've been here about 7+ years, and never in my history here have the four of us ever been in the same room at the same time. We're like the designated survivor. There's always one guy that's not here. Just in case something bad happens, we can continue to supervise and lead. But it's really great. I've been talking about this with you guys for a little while now about getting together and talking about the things we deal with every day, our perspective on the operation. And we're all in the field at one point, so we all have stories of EMS calls. But I'm pretty excited to be here with you. Thank you, Mark, Hoover, and Shane, for coming in.
It's great to be here. Thanks for making it happen.
Great.
I'm excited.
I do think this is, like I said, this is the first time the four of us have ever been in a room at the same time. I think we've had like 3 before, everybody.
Yeah, it's never been 4. But we're here, and I think we got some really interesting things to talk about. But let's start with, we'll kind of go in order of seniority here. We'll start in that order. I'm the last guy? No, Mark's the last guy. So, Shane, where'd you grow up? Where you from?
I'm from here in Georgia. I grew up in a little town north of Atlanta, probably about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. It's in between Chattanooga and Atlanta. I've lived here all my life, born and raised.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. Hoover?
I'm from Atlanta, Southwest, home, Fulton County. Been here all my life in the metro area.
Well, that's good. That's good. Mark?
I was born on Long Island in New York, but I mean, I grew up here. My family moved down here when I was like 3 years old, or 2 years old. So it's pretty much just known metro Atlanta area.
And we actually get along pretty good considering people from Boston don't usually like New Yorkers. But
I'm not a fan of any New York team.
Okay, good. Great.
Red Sox.
Yeah. Shane, what got you into EMS in the first place?
So there was a fire station right across the street from my house. So it started out as a volunteer. I would always, back in the 80s, they would come flying into the station when they had a call. They would even ride on the back of their fire engine. They made it a one-man full-time fire station, and eventually they added an ambulance there. So when I was in high school, I had a lot of interest in EMS by just seeing them over there. I never really had much interest in fire, even though that's what was there first. So once I turned, I think 17 or 18, I went and asked them if I could do ride-alongs with them, and they got with their EMS director. I signed a waiver, and I would actually go over there and third ride. I would just literally walk across the street and third ride with the ambulance crew. And yeah, so I had an interest in it probably from childhood up, just because I live right across the street from the fire station.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I got it. It was one of those things with me.
It's a family business, right?
I didn't have a choice. I'm gonna be honest with you. When your dad is putting
He's
you
a
through
legend.
the window,
Your dad is a legend here.
when he's putting you through the window to get you for the weekend, or he's not off shift yet, and hey, go sit in the back until we off shift. Back in the day where crews were a little light, but yeah, when it was my dad and mom wasn't together, so when it was his weekend to take me at like 4, 5 years old, I remember going down the street and, hey, there go your dad. Hey, here you go. Hand me through the window and put me in the back. And they just go on about their business. My dad been in EMS quite a while, and it's second nature.
Were you 8 years old when you did CPR for the first time?
Probably 2. Probably came out doing CPR. No, it's definitely in my blood. It's like second nature. It's like taking a breath, pretty much.
Yeah.
I've been in this since 16, 17 years old as a first responder, so that's all I really know.
And some people are just built to do this job. You're one of those guys.
Precisely.
Who's just built to do it.
And to this day, still love it like it's the first day.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. It's a hard job, and it's challenging, but to be in it this long and still have that love for it, like I said, I was born to do it.
Yeah. What about you, Mark? What got you into this?
Initially, I had a lot of surgeries as a kid, a lot of health problems. I had cranial synostosis, so I was in Children's Healthcare of Atlanta like a lot of times. So just wanted to be in healthcare, just in general from that experience. And then a lot of Rescue 911 as a kid. And then even when I was in high school, I wanted to be in a band with a drummer and that sort of thing. And then if that didn't work out, I was going to go be an ambulance driver. 16 years old, not understanding the industry. And then just when I turned 20, I was looking for something to do, got into EMT school, and then kind of fell in love with it because it's really the only job I've done as an adult. Just been in EMS since then, really. Outside of like working in restaurants for a couple of years as 18, 19 years old. Just been in EMS ever since.
It's probably one of the coolest jobs you can have, to be honest with you. We do things every day that most people can't do. They just can't function in the environment that we function in. And I think being in a leadership role, you're taking it up another notch at some point. There's no doubt about that. But collectively in this room, we have about 90 years of experience in EMS. I don't know, probably maybe even a little bit more than 90 years. But in that course of time, I'm sure there are calls that we've all done, good, bad, or indifferent, or something that's changed us in some way or changed the way we focus on EMS. But I'm going to start with Hoover. You get any calls that stand out? I'm sure you got a couple. When you were...
I have tons of calls that stand out, but one specifically, I think that haunts me daily, and I think because it touches close to home, was when I was in the fire service. I did about 2 years in the fire service, and we caught a call. Well, I was listening to the radio, so I'm a junkie. I listen to the radio all day. If I was bored at the fire station, it wasn't nothing for me to go look at the CAD, see what's going on in the county. So I heard my territory catch a shooting, and where I was at, shootings, they happened, but it wasn't as frequent as you would think. So I heard a shooting, so it caught my attention. I'm in my bunk, and I'm just reading the notes. I'm like, oh, wow. So I heard them start another unit, and I was concerned. I was like, oh, why didn't they send us? So I was okay. And then I saw it say a third unit, and I knew we were the third unit. Like, it's nobody else on the south side. So we was next. So when I saw the note come across the CAD, hey, send a third unit, I got my partner. I was like, hey, mother, she haven't even dispatched it or nothing. I'm like, hey, mother, we got to get the hell on. Come to find out, it was a police shooting. This guy, he didn't want to pay his HOA fees, and PD went to go serve a warrant, 3 of them. They went to knock on the door, and he unloaded as soon as they opened the door. He was what they call a sovereign citizen. Not sure if everybody's pretty familiar with them, but the U.S. law is not their friend, and they are defying and following the rules. They got their own laws and stuff. Back to the call, we hauling. I mean, we hauling. I hear their first crew, they got a helicopter en route. They have a police officer that was shot. All 3 of them were shot.
I actually remember this, I think.
Yep. One of the officers were considered DOA, and one of the patient was considered DOA. So The guy that was driving me, he normally drives the truck. So driving the ambulance, we actually became the second unit on scene. we were further away, but we became the second unit on scene. And we got on scene, and my chief was standing in the middle scene. He wasn't in the house, but he was like, "Hey, Sermon, let's go validate the 48s, just make sure." And that's when it went downhill. So I go in, I look to the right, man got a hole in his head. I'm like, well, he's dead. Not breathing and all that. So I go look at the police officer. He's face down, blood everywhere. I'm like, it's not looking good. So I'm jumping to the conclusion, oh, yeah, he might be a 48 too, until I see his bulletproof vest go up and down. And I stopped for a second like, hold on, this dude is breathing. I turn him over. He's staring at me, giving like, help me phase. I not freaking out, but shit hit the fan. So I'm like, yo, go to the truck.
There's no way you can prepare for that. You're expecting to see one thing and you can get another.
Come to find out, Jason, this dude was my age with a pregnant wife in the hospital. But he's looking at me and he has like 7 holes in him. And I'm like, yo, chief, I need a helicopter now. If they haven't taken off with that person, I need this helicopter for him. But they were already in the helicopter about to take off at the landing zone. We worked them up. We got 3 IOs in the tube, everything. We had him stabilized where he started going, messing with the airway, and he started deteriorating after that. We had the fire inspector drive us in.
Wow.
It was it's a police officer, 3 police officers shot. So we had everybody
High profile.
there. We had everybody there. So fire inspector driving us in. He don't run he don't run the ambulance. So he's riding us in, and we had to make the decision: non-trauma nearby hospital, or do we take him to a trauma hospital? At this point, all of us feel we can make it to Grady or AMC. So we take off down there. He goes en route, and he succumbed to his injuries. I feel bad that I didn't, because I feel we could have did a lot different. Honestly, I feel triaging wasn't done appropriately because I shouldn't have been the only person on scene when I got there if I was a second ambulance. Where was that scene commander or the first engine? The engine and the rescue was both ALS. Why did 5 people drop in with 1 person when we got 2 other patients? And it's that type of stuff that drives me today to do better. We get complacent. And if you practice this when the call is not high profile, when the call do become high profile, it's normal.
Unfortunately, the reality of this business is sometimes calls just don't go well. And sometimes you roll up expecting one thing and you find another. And you do the best you can in the situation you're presented with. And it sounds like you did.
No, we gave that man a fighting chance. The decisions that were made in that time frame and the actions of the colleagues, the teamwork, once everything got going, it got going. That one little miss up on the initial scene size up, additional patients, resources and stuff, I think we dropped the ball there. But outside of that, man, jam up.
Yeah. And I think the helicopter was a good decision. And then when that's not available, going to a trauma center, level 1 trauma center, definitely good over a community hospital. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, man. And knowing that his wife was right there, so we could have potentially took him to that hospital where his wife was pregnant and labor. Man, that was a bit much. And then you got the outside stuff of the call, like the simple stuff, like putting his ID information in and realizing, damn, this dude is my age.
Yeah.
Like, shoot. Or seeing
brings
his
it
body come out of AMC and PD is lined up saluting, some of them crying, and because his family wanted us to transport him to GBI. And I'm like, I've never been a part of that. Once we drop off at the hospital, that's it. But they wanted us to transport him. So being a part of that honor to give him riding in the police car in the convoy to the GB, it was chilling. That call would never leave. Never. And it wasn't my worst call. It's just one that would, because it's so close to, it could be one of us.
Yeah.
Somebody called for chest pain and just unleash. We never know. We put our lives on the line and don't even know we put our lives on the line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it took a while, but that was the call that shook me. It didn't really
Changed you.
shake my career, but it changed me.
Wow.
I don't know. I'll go first. You go first. Shane. I don't.
I don't know how you follow that.
Yeah, that definitely.
And it's difficult, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you're a young provider and you're treating a patient critically injured like that, at your age, it leaves a mark. There's no doubt about it. I've had them too, and now I'm at that point where pretty much all the patients are my
Starting to
age.
get more and more.
They're all my age now, but
So anyway, I got a couple. So when I first got in EMS, I ran a call. I was just an EMT where I think she was like 2 years old. She got mauled by a dog in the neck. Basically, her airway was gone. So we work her, take her to a local level 2 trauma center, I think, at the time. So what stands out the most about the call is I didn't realize it until afterwards that I know the kid's mom. Now, I wasn't working where I live or anything like that, so I wasn't thinking that I would end up knowing the kid's mom. And then that hit a little different. I was like, man, I grew up with her and going to school and everything, and then this is her child, brand new in EMS, seeing something like that. So that one stands out a lot. And then another one is when I first became a medic, ran a cardiac arrest. The fire department PD on scene did an excellent job. Long story short with this call is this lady went from being in cardiac arrest to awake and talking to us, and we didn't even have to intubate her before we left the scene. And then they wrote a nice letter. I still got that letter to this day thanking us. So I got a lower one and one that's positive. That's the two that I remember the most. And the positive calls, we don't run many of them in our career, but that's what keeps us going too, I think, is knowing that you do make a difference. You may not realize it sometimes with the way the calls are nowadays in 911. People that's really sick still do call as well. We just got to always remember that.
yeah. I think Merritt was saying that about 10% of the calls we run are the true emergencies that require an immediate intervention, and the rest not so much. But what do you got? You got a call, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a
I'm sure you've got 1,000 of them, but
I just spent a long time in my career where I was a black cloud. So there was many years where something terrible happened. I just ended up showing up there. But the one that sticks out the most was when I just got my medic like about a month. I actually gotten like instated and was working on my own about a month before this. And we got a call for an ejection on the interstate. And we were traveling on that interstate at that time. So we were like, okay, so it's right here. We're here. Where is it? My partner actually had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting what was the patient, essentially.
wow.
But there was not much of a patient because he had been ejected from a car and then struck by a semi and then hit by several other vehicles. And this was like 2 days before Christmas.
Wow.
But it wasn't so much it was the fact that we got there, we almost hit him, and then we got stuck on scene because it came out as multiple ejections. So we were out there for like an hour and a half searching side the road, in the grass, all over the place, trying to find if there was anybody else. Because when we looked in the car, it looked like there possibly could have been 2 people that came out of it. But it ended up only being 1. But, which I mean, obviously didn't transport.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was literally just a torso left. But that just the fact that I was so brand new, and then we just ended up being like right there. And it just, yeah, it would always sticks with me.
Yeah, no time to think about it or process it on the way to the call.
No.
You were right on top of it. And before Christmas, too, so.
Yeah, which anytime you run a bad call right now, man, there's a little more of an emotional tie. Because he was pretty young. He was in his early 20s.
Wow.
But, I mean, other than that, I mean, there's been, I don't know, there's been a lot. You know?
Wow. All right, I need a minute to process all this because, wow, those are some calls.
And that's just a select few of many.
Yeah,
They were saying.
there's been plenty.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, we forgot, too. Like, and I always will have that when somebody will tell me about a call or something, and we'll just jar something. I'm like, I've done something like that before. So.
I will say, when you said positive, one of the coolest things happened up here, and it was a call. A guy got away from a nursing home. The guy, it's like middle of the night, pitch black, and the call came out. Crews went out there. I'm roaming around, finding something to do. So I was in the area. So the crew go in service. They stopped at our territory. They went in service because no patient found. The location was an intersection, and of course, it wasn't at the intersection. So they rode around our side of the territory, didn't find nothing, went in service. PD went in service. So they sitting down the street, chatting. I'm like, I bet you they didn't check the other county side. So I'm still roaming around. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go make this left turn. I'll lie to you not. old man is laying halfway in the street on the pitch black road. It was a car the caller, she was blocking, or she wasn't even blocking traffic because she was ahead of him with her flashes on. It was just over the county line, and we found him. He was lit, head, face messed up, everything, but we found him. I'm glad we found him, because he was literally, only thing that was on the sidewalk was his knees down. Everything else was in the street, and it was a road where you ain't seeing him. I didn't see him. If she wasn't there, I wouldn't have saw him. But that was kind of cool. I felt purpose. I had purpose that day.
Wow, those are some stories. All right, let's talk a little bit about our role in leadership. I know we often get caught up in the day-to-day events that occur, but what does the big picture look like? Shane, what does the big picture look like to you as a supervisor?
So the big picture, so you can get caught up in the day-to-day actions where you're just into the zone of making sure the levels are where they need to be. The hospital time, drop times is not high, and you're getting into all that. And sometimes I think you can lose sight of the big picture is making sure your crew's well-being is good, making sure that one of the calls that might have went out in that span of time where you're sitting here trying to make sure everything, the operation is going the way it needs to go, could have been a bad call. And you could forget to reach out to that crew because you're
Right.
you're in the game of trying to make sure everything else is going good as far as having units and service and things like that. But I had to learn, because I have missed a couple of them situations.
Well, it's easy,
And-
right? The phone is constantly ringing. Your emails are going. You're trying to fill shifts in the middle of maybe getting crews in service. Yeah, it's easy to miss a radio call or,
The big overall picture is you got to make sure that everything's going the way it needs to go as far as the operation, and make sure you're not sinking. But you have to also make sure that you are caring about the well-being of your people, because they're the ones out there on the streets running the calls. And so just trying not to miss something important. There's been times if a crew took me to level 0 because of a high stress call, it doesn't bother me. That
Yeah.
happens.
I think we all agree with that, right?
agree.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of lose that humanoid factor, like your humane factor, because
Well,
you're too busy in the business
Absolutely,
aspect.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can get very focused. There's so many things we have to do every day.
Absolutely.
It's easy to get locked in on the administrative elements and lose sight of that. Very
Which
easy
the
to do.
administrative elements are important, but it's also, like Hoover said, the human part is just as much as important, if not more important.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes everything go, is the people that's actually on the road.
Yeah, I agree. Mark, how has your perspective changed since you've become a supervisor? Since I don't want to use this word. I don't want to use the word rookie. I don't think that really
I think it's
applies.
been-
But
It's been 2 years now.
You passed the grace period.
yeah, but hey,
Yeah, I'm the newest of the 4.
yeah,
Well, I think it was initially, like even before I was in the official role position, and I was just doing it in between, like interim. You do have to look at it differently. If you're just on a truck, just a paramedic, you might be paying attention to what's going on with the system and the levels and stuff like that, but you're generally focused primarily, and you should be, patient care on the patient in front of you and stuff like that. So when you switch to this role, now you're trying to, you're trying to manage the whole system and pay attention to everything that's going on. That becomes a priority. Even when you jump on a truck and you run a call, there's this kind of trying to find that balance. Because I'm going out there, I'm running a call, I'm taking care of a patient, but I also know that I'm drowning and I'm holding calls. This person in front of me, whether it needs to be obviously priority too, but it's trying to find that balance that gets tricky, especially when you have to jump on a truck and run a call.
yeah. And you're really good about that. Hoover is too. Well, I guess
I'm going to be honest.
I'm probably the worst one here for doing that.
I changed because I run into those scenarios, like I'm on a bad call or I'm on a call, but this phone will not shut up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Normally when things are that bad, that's when the battalion chiefs from different agencies might be calling. Lots of other people are trying to call to figure out what resources we have, and we are currently at that time one of the resources. So it's hard to, at times if we're able, we'll transfer the phones over to our operations manager or something like that. But then there on the weekend or whatever, there's just nothing you can do. You just have to,
You're it.
yeah.
especially at night.
Yeah.
So me personally, I combine both of theirs. I may be on a call, critical call, and battalion chiefs are calling me. So I changed to where I feel like I'm a better asset if I'm giving people service. If I'm answering.
Yeah, you can be a force multiplier doing that too.
Yeah. And I feel like me going to the hospital, giving folks in service, or calling nurses, giving folks in service, that'll be quicker than me running this one toe pain that maybe, or something that could wait. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of adjusting.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of adjusting.
And I agree. You're absolutely right. It's just, you just have to, what I do is play it by, what I'm seeing. If it looks like I can get a few trucks of service, that I'll do it. But if nobody's at the hospital, or they only been there like 3 or 4 minutes, and there's 3 or 4 calls holding, if there's somebody to get on with, I'll just get on and go. But once I get on the truck, though,
You're disconnecting.
my focus will be on the patient.
Yep.
So that's the huge disconnect. I feel that patient has my highest priority at that time. So it's not the best thing for the service you're working for when that type of stuff happens
Yeah.
overall.
And you've had some really rough days.
So
Yeah, agreed. What do you guys think is a part of this job, now that we've all been doing it a while, that people don't see? What is it, at least one element of it that we do every day that probably crews on the road just don't see?
they don't realize how much we're on the phone, how much stuff we're doing on the back end, because Mark was saying earlier, when you're on a truck, your main responsibility is that truck and your partner if you're a medic. So you're worrying about just that. When you become into the leadership position, you're worried about everybody that's on a truck. If there's 20 trucks on the road, they're all your responsibility.
Yeah, that's 40 people out there.
And
Plus.
I think they may not realize, like, when we miss a phone call, it's because we're talking to somebody else. And then we might miss a couple of phone calls because their colleagues are calling us about different things. So, I'll just stop at that for now. I'm sure y'all got some good stuff.
It's funny because one of our step-ups
Cut
was...
that out.
Yeah.
I'll stop it.
No. One of our backup supervisors took a phone call from a crew member that was concerned that they weren't the closest unit to a call. But while that's going on, he's got a crew broken down on the side of the highway, trapped in a vehicle, trapped in their ambulance, waiting for a tow during rush hour. And he's like, it's just too much sometimes. There's too many big things happening all at once, not just the calls that are going on, but the issues and challenges that are happening every minute of the day, and the phone doesn't stop ringing, and the emails come in. And for Shane and I during the day, there are people we can turn to, right? There's an ops manager here. Sometimes our regional is here, or an admin supervisor. But for you guys at night, you're it. Maybe you could reach out to another county.
Yeah, but you're not getting anything. Not getting anything from that, man.
That's
I
not
don't think
happening.
I have yet. I think once in 2 years, and it was only because it was initially their call and then it got dropped back on us that we actually got them to run it.
Yeah, you guys are it. So if something bad
4 years,
happens,
nothing.
that's it.
The only time I've had it is when there was we would call it an MCI because it was at a nursing home and a lot of people had to be transported. I had an assistance from one of our sister operations and another operation that came to assist. But other than that, the thing about it is everybody's busy. So sometimes I don't think it's that they don't want to help. I think they probably really can't help.
We all in the same position.
That's where the kind of off subject, and it's a topic for another day, but where the funding model for Medicare and Medicaid needs to change to help fix that problem in EMS. If it doesn't, we're going to keep sinking as an industry, we're going to keep sinking to the ground, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the reimbursements from Medicare and Medicaid really haven't gone up by any significant amount, at least for private EMS, in the last 30 years. Just hasn't. But wages go up, fuel expenses go up, the electricity in the building goes up every year, supplies increase.
Crews want more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about just the
Standard of
payroll
living.
in 30 years.
Yeah.
that amount of increase.
Yeah. And it's pretty significant challenges. But
That question, I want to also point in that something that crews don't understand, or outside of the supervisor, looking on the outside end, I have worked all you guys shifts, and daytime has different challenges than night, and night has different challenges than day. I do agree with that. But what crews don't get is you can sit in that office all day and be just as stressed out as if you were
I would say
more
I would say
I
more.
would say more.
Yeah.
than being in the field, because to you think we're just sitting here, but you don't see the phone calls, you don't see the mentoring that's going on, the disciplining that we have to do, the paperwork, and it's so many moving elements because we have a lot of cities that we have to, within our territory, that we have to monitor. So we also monitoring radios, looking out for the next shift, scheduling, and just because, to the crew, which I thought being on the truck, you don't do nothing. No. I can sit right here in this office for 12 hours and probably be more stressed out than actually out there running calls, and even from just making sure the cleaning man has keys to get in everything.
You know, it's funny because I relieved you this morning at 7 a.m. And the first time I looked at the clock was 4 in the afternoon. So where'd that time go? It was, my attention was absorbed every minute of that time, right up until 4 o'clock. And the other factor is the downward pressure we get, right? Thinking from our RD and from our ops manager and in dispatch, right? Communications. There's a lot of downward pressure put on us where they're looking for answers and they want them right away. In addition to everything that's going on,
disconnect
right?
from the street to administration.
And just trying to stay engaged with the cities, with the calls that are dropping, where all the units are, how long they've been out here, where they're there, who's out of service, who's in service, what challenges any individual particular crew has in it at any point during the day, which we need to be involved with. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts going on. I said that. Parts.
And
A lot of moving parts.
And lots of times it may not be realized because I think we've all had leadership training now in some way, some sort, where we all took a class together pretty much.
Yeah. Except for the designated survivor in that class, which was Hoover. For that particular.
So
It kicked me off the island.
Yeah.
so on the outside, we're looking calm for the most part. Not always. We slip from time to time.
Sure.
But we're looking calm, but on the inside, we're moving 100 miles an hour sometimes.
Yeah.
Because of so much stuff that's going on at once. And you could be going from one thing to another, just like that.
Yeah, I agree. And your lead right now, you don't have one.
I don't.
He's
That's
out.
correct.
So you've got that added responsibility put on you too, Shane.
Designated survivor, I feel like we're the utility players. If anybody play baseball or sports, we're the utility players of the operation.
Yeah.
We fill in the blanks. Hey, my dispatcher got to go to the restroom. There's nobody else here, so I guess I got to go be a dispatcher for 10 minutes. It's literally mechanic. If we need to pull a tire, we got to do it all.
Yeah. Let me go jump that truck.
Me and my
Precisely.
lead, he's put a jack in the back of an ambulance, and we went out to the parking lot of a restaurant before to change the tire.
Get the job done.
Get the unit back in.
Get the job done by any means necessary.
Well, it's like juggling, though. I was trying to figure out what has to be done and figure out how to do it. Also kind of stuck being a middleman between like operations manager, regional director, the field crews, and sometimes soothe them, sometimes
But I
you
think-
have kinds of roles.
I think we all agree that the safety and welfare of the crews on the road is number one.
Number one.
First priority.
Absolutely.
Everything else is second. But and the second thing I would think would be system resiliency, maintaining the system in being able to respond to calls. Nowhere in, and there's probably 30 items in that list. We're not even on it. Not even, right? You don't catch a break during the day. It's rare, right?
Get the phone call. I haven't eaten. Well, I haven't.
I bring stuff with me because I know that's not going to happen.
We in this boat together. Let's figure it out.
So what do you think is the most misunderstood element of being a battalion chief here or supervisor, whatever?
People think you out to get them. To me,
What is it?
people think that you out to get them when we all got a job to do. They feel, or I wouldn't even just say it's this operation or this area. Just the general tradition of a supervisor is, oh, he's come to attack me or get me in trouble. Or, oh, we're not here for that.
Right.
We're here to keep this company afloat. Make sure you get home and try to find some enjoyment within our day to keep going. Or how can we help you? We're here to help you. Now, granted, stuff happens. It's going to always happen. And we have to address them as it comes. But I can pretty much put all my money on the table that none of the four of us come to work, hey, I want to get this person right here. Or let me go follow this person and see. We're not here for that.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us have our own ways of, we're mentors. We want to help keep the morale up. How can we be better? We're not here to drop the hammer. That's not our job. That's really not our job.
Yeah, it's the least of it all.
Least. I hate it, honestly, but it has to, like I said, I've been assigned a job, so I have to do it just like they have to respond to calls.
We're absolutely being held accountable.
Absolutely.
By our OM, and by the RD. There's no doubt about that. We have numbers that we have to answer to. Tomorrow morning, I'll get a phone call probably. Shane will probably get that same call when he's back in. And they're going to ask, they're going to want to know why. What was happening with this? Why is that? Why does the schedule look like this? And we're being held accountable, and therefore we have to hold people accountable. It's just part of what it is.
I agree 100%. There's times when there's policies and procedures in place, and if they're not followed, sometimes we have to look like the bad guy. We're not really wanting to be the bad guy. We're just doing what we're expected to do from our senior management. And hopefully in return, it makes things operate better, because hopefully everybody realizes that, hey, we got to operate as a team. We're all a team at the end of the day. We're all working together and for each other, and I think they would do whatever they could to help somebody in need. I've actually witnessed it. If they have a patient that's violent and they pull over, if there's another ambulance close, they will be there for them. So just keeping the team aspect alive, even though at times we have to maybe consult someone about a drive cam or some time in attendance. I think all of us can agree that's the worst thing that we have to do in our job, is to sit down and talk to somebody about something of that nature. But we just have to.
Let me ask this question.
At times.
How do we balance supporting crews with holding them accountable? You talk about drive cam. It's horrible. We get 1 million of those a day coming through the door, right? Sometimes they're backlogged on reviewing them, but they pop up on the screen. And how do you balance supporting them and also holding them accountable when it comes to what the standard is for driving?
Keeping it not personal.
Yeah.
I just let them know, hey, it's not personal. It's literally, because most of the times, if disciplinary action is recommended, it's most of the time a safety concern.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's one of our priorities, safety. So it could be taken as, oh, I'm in trouble, or it could be a learning, teachable moment of, okay, I need to be a little more safe. I can see how this could be potential to be worse. That's my thought.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a lot of times when we're doing it, it's because, especially with the drive cam, we are trying to improve safety with that. I mean, that's the overall goal from the top.
Yeah, we want everybody to be able to go home, but we also don't want anybody getting a career-ending injury here.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a few people has career injuries because of accident, negligent driving.
And there are so many things in this job that, on the road, right, as a paramedic, there's so many things as a paramedic that you can control, but there are so many things you can't, right? But you can control your driving, you can control your following distance and those elements of it, but...
Which, I mean, that is really one of the only risks you can control, at least when you're the one driving, is that one aspect. Because, I mean, you can't control if you go to a psych patient if they're going to be violent, any other kind of things that happen on scene, or being on the interstate running calls, which is dangerous. But the actual driving and actually coming to a full stop intersection, stuff like that they can control.
Control the controllables.
Professionalism, that can be controllable.
Yeah.
Hold yourself to the standard that the community hold you to. Have some integrity. And sometimes we have to remind our employees, hey, you may not know it, but your professionalism is going down, and we need to step in and coach you up, or we're not tolerating this because this behavior is not professional. We want people to invite us into their house. We don't want to be on edge while we sitting at post eating our burger. You want to hold yourself to the professionalism, and us holding you to that standard makes it easier for you, makes it safer for you, and you may not see it because I didn't see it when I was growing up in EMS, but now that I am on the leadership side of it, it's just like drive cam. It's literally just to coach. Hey, this is what people expect, and you doing this is going to lose the trust of our community. Losing trust in our community is going to affect our company.
Affects all of us. Yeah,
all of us, because this is our career. If they don't trust us in this area, don't think we can go to another area. You don't want that. We don't want that. We are there to help, and I like to keep that. So improving professionalism, improving some integrity. And once you coach people and show them that you're coming from that angle rather than I don't like you or we got to get you out of here. So no, it's not that. It's the fact that I want to see our career expand. I want us to get $100,000+, but we got to hold ourselves to $100,000+ standards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Can't ask for money and give BS.
I agree. Hoover, what leadership lessons have you learned the hard way?
It's bigger than me. My pride, my ego, what I think I know, what I think is right, what I think is effective. It's not always effective. There's other ways. Little do you know, I learned from you.
Hey.
I learned from you. I learned from you. Because I saw a long time ago that all four of us have a different dynamic on how we lead.
We have different styles. Yeah.
But every time those emails come out, our compliance is just as equal.
Yeah.
So obviously the job is getting done, and obviously we're doing it 4 different ways.
Yeah.
So if I can improve my way, one of my coolest movies I like is Transformers. Optimus Prime kept evolving. So if I can keep evolving, that's take my ego out of it, keeping it business. That's the biggest thing. Because once you get personal and ego involved, your mission is going to fail.
Yeah. What do you think, Shane?
Well, I want to start off with saying that I've learned from all of y'all as well over the years.
Yeah, I think we all
gotta-
have.
Yeah.
So what leadership lessons have you learned the hard way, Shane?
Number one is just listening to someone when there's a conversation, when you're having a difficult conversation. Don't interrupt. Don't start voicing your opinion before they're done telling you their whole story. And you have to, you have to listen to everybody involved's story. Can't take a side, can't take it personal, as Hoover was saying. And another challenge that I had to learn once I got into leadership is how to handle people. Everybody's different. The generational gaps are different. And the way you handle different situations is a lot different than it was from when I was coming up in EMS, and because that's what I've done most of my adult career. But it is a lot different now than it was back then. The way you approach, and that can be for the good.
Yeah,
but it's totally different than it was in the past.
Yeah, I think the days of the hard chief who just lays it out, this is it, those days are gone by. That's over. We have a different workforce now.
You serve first, lead second. So that's pretty much where we're at nowadays. And like I said, it can actually be a good thing. I do know that there's things that I never forgot to do when I was just an EMT, from the way I was directed that I needed to do it. I still remember them to this day, but also understand the aspect of the new way as well.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
The hardest part for me, or the hardest lesson I learned, was I can't expect that everybody on the road is in line with what I'm thinking. So I'm looking at the system throughout the day, and our resources are getting low. And so I pop up, I shoot over to the hospital, and maybe they're not aware we're at level 0 or level 1 or whatever the level is at that point in time, or that we're dropping calls left and right. And we've got call clusters coming in, and my adrenaline level is up, and I'm focused. And I roll up there and pop out. I've got to stop. And take a breath, because they may have just run a really bad call, or they may be having a personal issue, or something's going on, or the charge nurse had them on the wall for 2 hours, and I'm rolling up there thinking, I got a call holding I need covered right now. But I need to stop, take a minute, and approach that situation differently, because not everybody is at the same place I'm at that moment in time. And that can come off as very aggressive, right? And the biggest thing I do is I have to stop and smile. I know it sounds silly, but my resting face is scary. So I have to remember this. They've got stuff going on too. So
Well, I think they a lot of times, depending on the crew, not all of them are actively listening to what's going on outside of just listening for their unit number. And then when they go in, transportation care, give a report, that tends to fall on the wayside. They're not paying attention to what the level is right then. So that happens sometimes.
and you're drowning.
Yeah, and you know.
Hey, it's Jason Falvey. Thank you for spending part of your day with me here on In Service. If something from this episode hit home, maybe it reminded you of a call, a shift, or a hard lesson learned, follow the show and please send it to just one person and ask them to follow. Now let's get in service. Yeah. We've all had many partners over the years, but what are the qualities that make a good partner? Or what are the habits a partner can have that will just bring you to tears? Who wants that one?
When I was in paramedic school, I had a partner that, like Huber was saying earlier, you do basically a systematic approach. Do the same thing every time, every patient, no matter if their toe hurts or if they've been shot 20 times. Check the pupils, listen
We
to their
assess,
lungs.
treat, if necessary, transport.
So that was, in my eyes, an excellent mentor, an excellent teacher, an excellent person. And that's the good qualities, I think, of a partnership. And you can, and even if you're the medic and your partner's an EMT, don't think you can't learn from them. You can still learn from, because they could have read an article that you haven't read,
Agree.
and it could, oh man, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For me, it's somebody I can trust.
Yeah.
It's hard to spend 12 hours every day with somebody that you got to watch over your back. Somebody, to me, somebody I can trust and somebody that's steady want to be better, because I know I'm going to want to be better. And if I know you want to be better, I know you're going to be open to learning. You're going to be open to listening. You're going to be open to doing whatever needs to be done to get the job done, because I'm going to do it. And having somebody with that same mentality is like going to war with your best friend. I know if I'm in the trenches, this person going to be right beside me. And to me, that's the partner I'm going to always choose.
Yeah.
I can't say I've had that many bad partners, but I've had a lot of good ones. And usually it was just that where you could work as a team. And even when I had like partners that were in paramedic school, and if they wanted to do line share, some of the assessment and stuff like that, as long as it's within their skill level. But I was fine with that. Just finding that teamwork and communication. I mean, I find a lot of times when people have like partnerships and situations that break down, it's because they aren't communicating with each other. There's no
That's true.
like
They're
give
inflexible.
and take. Yeah, there's just this either one person just sitting there stewing angry and not talking to the other person at all. The other person might not even realize that the person is angry at them.
And I just had that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you know what? I've had a lot of great partners over the years. I don't think I've really ever had somebody that I just couldn't work with. And I had a partner for about 5 years, and boy, we were from two different worlds. And I was the medic on the unit, and we would run calls, and 98% of the time I was doing the assessment and teching that call, and he was putting the truck back together and making sure I didn't get injured by somebody is pretty much what he was, just watching my back the whole time. But he was really, really good. And the funny thing about him is if we were on a call and he stepped forward and started asking questions, I would shut my mouth because he saw something I was just probably too naive to see, and I knew something was going on. So as soon as he stepped forward and started asking, I would shut up and listen. And very often, every time he did it, there was something he was seeing going on that I wasn't seeing. And so for that point of view, he probably did save my life a bunch of times. I don't know.
And it's big.
What's that?
I said that's big.
Yeah. We've been doing this a long time, and there's a lot of skills, equipment, techniques that are just not used anymore. And we could name a bunch of them, right? The military anti-shock trouser. That's a big
trousers.
Mass trousers, man.
trousers.
God, we all tested on that at one point in time,
Absolutely.
right? Inflating them, and high dose epi was a big one. Stack defibrillation. Mark was pointing that out the other night.
Yeah, stack shocks.
Stack, right? Another big one, manual IO, right?
Yeah, manual IO.
We had to, with your hand, drill that thing into the bone. Good Lord, right? Precordial thumb.
Okay.
I've seen the precordial thumb work
Yeah, I've seen it
a few
work.
times.
Yeah, I was trained in it. Never did it. Never. I think at that time it was for what? Witnessed VTAC or VFib or something like that. What do you think?
The mass trousers was good splits. If you had bilateral leg fractures in any way, they were.
Pelvic fracture, you could
Oh,
stabilize
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Actually, probably used it more for that type of thing than its main purpose, really.
Auto transfusing, right? What do you think?
I think the funniest thing is the evolution of units, ambulances.
Yeah.
Never remember going no heat, no AC. You go through an intersection, cloud of black smoke. Your AC was rolling the windows down and just drive a little faster.
Yeah.
Everything is so technology savvy these days.
240 air conditioning, right?
Man.
Both windows down,
There
40
you
miles
go.
an hour.
There you
Yeah.
go. Life pack. You had to squinch to see the life pack. Get some lube to shock somebody. It was.
When I got started, we had the Life Pack 10s, but there were still 5s around. The 5 you could split in half, but they were tiny screens.
Man,
1 lead at a time. There was no. You had to toggle between what lead you wanted to look at.
and y'all was in, let's put this out there. Y'all was in EMS while I was still in school, so some of the stuff was still phased out. I am the baby of the group. For those who don't know,
We used to pace asystole all the time.
I
Yeah,
remember.
you actually said you saw it work. I've never seen pacing assist till it
Never
work.
seen it.
I've
We
had.
always would just be like, we'll do that. And, all right, that's done. And then
Yeah,
move
we
on.
had. I had multiple calls where, we got somebody back through pacing asystole. Yeah, one guy was talking on the way to the hospital, and we used to do the quick look with the paddles. Right, we talked about that before we started recording tonight. But yeah, the paddles was the coolest thing in the world, and they took that away.
Well, it was like when I first cardiac arrests I worked when it was still stack shocks and paddles. So you just ran up to somebody before you were doing any CPR and you'd shock them 3 times and basically never worked. I mean, maybe it did somewhere at some point, but I never saw it.
You're just zeroing the patient out,
Yeah,
right?
it was just like 200,
Confirm
300,
that it's
360. All right,
done.
let's start doing CPR. But it never did anything. I don't know. But I mean, when you first changed from that, but like it was hard to reset your mind. I don't know if you remember when they went from like epi and atropine to just epi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was like, I was like, why are we doing this? This is crazy. We're sitting here doing CPR before we do anything. Like, what are we doing?
Another thing I just thought about, it's not really patient care, but writing the paper PCR.
Oh, yeah.
that was so much
man.
better though. We always kept that mark on you.
Yeah.
For the bubble sheet.
And you had it done before you left the hospital.
Man,
You felt
the
like
whole narrative was abbreviations.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was.
drawing the symbol. I used to draw like the male and the female symbol. Instead of writing male and female.
It's only 2 words on the whole PCR, two dictionary words. Everything else is abbreviated.
Yeah.
Because they only give you like what, 3 lines to put a full narrative on.
You had to have your symbols down and your abbreviations.
Leave
Yeah.
the pink sheet.
Which nobody could ever have read that. Carbon copy did not go through well enough for anyone to ever
no,
read
not at all.
the yellow or the pink.
you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Yeah, paper PCRs. What about charcoal syrup of it? We don't carry that anymore. Do you guys ever use it in the
I did
field?
as a tech in the ER, but
It's gross.
yeah, makes a big mess. It works.
It works.
Obviously, absorbs whatever sort of toxin that's in their system, but they tend to vomit it up, and then there tends to be lots of black vomit all over the place.
Yeah, it's a
One of
mess.
the weird things of recent EMS changes is the lack of sodium bicarb on cardiac arrest.
Absolutely. I agree with
I
you.
get a lot of people back with sodium bicarb pushes because of the unknown downtime.
Yeah.
People don't really know. It's I think if you just see somebody die, you're not. Let me see what time it is. You don't know, and most times it's not. It's longer than what we get. I get a lot of people back from sodium bicarb, and that is a change that I wish would come back.
When I got started, they had kitten labs for pediatric intubation. Anybody, you guys ever do that?
I did not.
No, never heard.
We
of it.
watched some.
I think people would have a major problem. Major problem with that today.
You got to explain that one. I never heard of it.
You'd have cats or kittens, and you would intubate them in a lab
Wrong.
because the anatomy of that airway is so small. What about? I remember in PALs, we used to, with the manual IO, drill it into a chicken bone.
Yep, those were like chicken bone pop.
Yeah.
That was the thing they taught you. Which, I mean, that was the first pediatric cardiac arrest I ever ran. I had to use a manual IO and peg, which, I mean, it worked. It functioned. But and it was...
Kind of barbaric, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But now that you got an easy IO, I mean, it's so much easier.
Quicker.
Just quicker. And I mean, you don't have to do... That's some of the stuff you were talking about. Like, you used to have to go down the tube
Yeah.
for, like, your medications. So cardiac arrest, no IV access. You're given, like, epi down the tube. You're given atropine down the tube. You're given lidocaine down the tube.
Yeah.
Narcan down the tube.
Most of the codes, you would drop the tube, push the first couple rounds down the tube.
Yeah, if you were lucky, you'd get an EG or
Yeah.
some access.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, the evolution of EMS has changed dramatically as well.
Man, some
TXA, antibiotics,
Yep.
blood.
places are doing blood. The IO at one time was just mainly for pediatric patients. Now it's
What about the MONA protocol for congestive heart failure?
Well, that was
Did you
doing
use
congestive
that,
heart
right?
failure without having a CPAP of any kind.
Yeah. Yeah, that was unheard
Those
of.
were bad calls. I ran some of those where you just happen to give a bunch of nitro and then like put them on high flow too.
You saying before
Kinda-
the CPAP?
Yeah, before we had a CPAP.
Yeah,
on-
man. I remember when that came in play.
Oh, you were
it was
bagging
like a
them, right?
life-saving.
Sometimes you'd help bag them and like do poor man CPAP. But
CPAP was evolutionary.
Yeah, it definitely was. Let's give it all the time.
lots of
Lasix.
lives.
That's one of my first drugs, CPAP. But
So
you
the
at
C-
the right level, I'd go straight there.
The CPAP is kind of an amazing thing, at least when the times when I've used it. If a patient has never, ever had it before, they're not wanting it. They feel like they're smothering. But if they wore it at least one time and you come back again, they're wanting it.
Call it out. And that's what you teach your new people. Hey, if somebody asks for CPAP,
yeah, put them on.
give it to them.
Put it on them.
That's
Yeah.
not like over-the-counter medicine that people just know about.
Wow. So what worked out of all that stuff they took away? What do you think actually worked? You said mass trousers, right, for stabilizing fractures.
I think the bicarb.
I think mass trousers might have worked for trauma too, but it just never got used for this purpose of hypovolemia very often.
Yeah. Now we're looking at blood products.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about the map book?
Map book.
great.
We've left that out.
There.
Map
You should
books.
put
We're
that
looking up
on
the grid.
every truck. Just because at some point there's going to be a time where GPS goes down and none of these people are going to have
I
every.
thought that was a requirement.
But they're not going to
Navigate
know
themselves.
how to
I like
read it.
I remember that was a test. You had to be able to look up a
Yes,
street
Neo.
and navigate there. Yeah.
You had to, they give you like 10 addresses and you got to go to the square on the
Yeah.
map book to.
Yeah.
Man, that will freak half our crews.
What is
we should
this?
do it as a pre.
I don't
this
feel
thing?
like that all the evolution in MDTs and GPS and stuff. I don't feel like it's improved response times at all. Because I mean, when we were doing it without an MDT and with a map book, our response times were about the same.
Yeah.
Because you just get the general area. You head to
And
the
you
general
gain the
area.
knowledge.
And
Yeah.
the territory better.
Yeah,
know,
you
it
would just
makes
start
you
driving in that
lazy.
direction, and you'd partner would look up the address, tell you where to turn.
Like we couldn't even hit the highway. That was a rule on the highway. Don't like it wasn't a rule from management. It was a rule from your partner. Get out. You need to learn territory. Drive the streetway.
Yeah.
But yeah, sitting on that passenger side, looking
Flip,
down.
sometimes you got to flip it from one page to the other.
If it was on the edge.
It was on the crease.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the crease.
Got to turn it upside down, and don't waste no coffee on it. Somebody wasted something on it. Now we can't see where we're going.
Somebody puts their gum on the page.
That would be a good prank. Just take all the technology and just. Some people freak out if you got to keep up with your own times. Man, that used to be your Palm Pilot was your palm of your hand or some tape on your pants.
tape. Yeah.
That's even like if I have two patients, I was still doing like tape on one leg.
Yeah, and you always got to know where the ink is for the monitor,
Yeah.
or when the ink runs out for the cardiac monitor.
Hold on.
What the hell are you talking?
I was like, yo.
He's talking about pranks. So.
Oh, yeah. You had me. Yeah.
That's how you like going to ask somebody, how do you charge this IO? Where's the charging port?
Yeah. Plug that in,
Yeah,
please.
please, it's done.
So how has EMS culture evolved over the years, for better or worse?
Worse.
I mean, I'd say better and worse.
Better and
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah,
It's
better or worse.
In what areas? Areas.
Well, I think overall, as it comes to understanding like PTSD and what the crews have to deal with, that like just management, even our organization or other organizations have gotten better at understanding that people are going to deal with that, a little more accepting of it, dealing
So
with
health.
the mental
Yeah.
health aspect that comes with it.
Yeah, I think we all agree
That's
with
the
that.
best. That's probably the best thing that has evolved in EMS.
Because, I mean, it used to be like, shut up
Suck
and
it
run your
off.
call.
Yes, suck it up.
Look it up, Buttercup.
Or
I
go
think-
find another job.
One of the things is it's more, I wish we could just all know that it ain't just a business. We're a brother and sisterhood, just like the fire departments, police departments. We might be a third party entity for private service, that is. But I just wish we could just all, and maybe somebody like we have cookouts, things like that. I believe that helps it because you have team members sitting out at the table, at the ping pong table, eating, having nice conversations. There's laughing, there's cutting up. Things like that are very important. And I think bringing that side back to even if you're a private service, you still need that, I believe.
Camaraderie.
Because there's a lot of, in this industry, really, I don't know if you call us a weird group or what, but there's a lot of sense of humor. And I think you have to be careful with your sense of humor nowadays, but just bringing a little bit of the fun back into it. We have to be serious, but at times we have to be able to laugh and smile. And even the joke's on you. If a joke's on me and it's making 10 people laugh, I don't care. I've been a
you roll with
squirrel. I've been a squirrel in a picture frame on an ambulance before.
Dover dollars.
If that's making people laugh and have fun, that's fine with me. I don't take it in the wrong way.
I would say the worst part of it, that failure to just be great. Back in the day, it was, like he said, we were having fun. It wasn't all these rules. It was literally, hey, run your call, but while you're not running your call, enjoy yourself. Management wasn't as tight. EMS was young. But the fact that, let's just put it in perspective, back when we were growing up, or when I was growing up, it was nothing to take home a uniform bloodied, or that was like a trophy. Like, I trained when we, back in the day, Shane would run 10 calls. I knew I can't have Shane out there running all the calls by himself. I got to run again. Hey, we got to get up in it with him, like help him out.
Yeah.
I remember back in, I think it was around 2008, if I remember correctly, when the economy it tanked real bad. A lot of people were laying people off, and like Hoover was saying, the healthcare industry and public safety, there were still jobs
The
there.
demand was still there.
So you had people that probably had absolutely no interest at all at the time going to EMT school just so they could have a steady job.
Yeah, I think
For their
healthcare has
family.
always been one of those recession-proof businesses you
Like,
can be in.
you own a 911 truck and don't like lights and sirens. What are we doing?
You're missing it, right?
There's people that literally see it, and this is a problem. Like, instead of being this is their primary profession, this is what they're going to be. They're going to be in EMS as a career. They see it as like a stepping stone, or I'll do this for a few years and then go into PA school or go into nursing school or go into something else. But it's not their primary passion. I mean, you can see that. That didn't used to be that way, because I mean, it used to be everybody that was in it wanted to be there. There just wasn't bridge programs to RN. There wasn't as much of that happening.
So one thing to help fight that, and I've read articles where other services has did it, is they've actually set up different career paths for people that had that interest, and it helped the employees that had that interest be more focused at what they were actually doing when they were here, because they understood that we were going to have them for a year or two, and that's probably it. But we understood that up front, it gained a lot of interest to the employee, and they put in a better effort while they were here to learn.
I see your point of view, Mark, absolutely. But I also feel that if somebody is here and they want to move forward, if they view that as a move forward, I think that's pretty great. They want to advance themselves, move on, get a little bit further along in healthcare, maybe become a PA or a nurse or whatever endeavor they're heading towards. I think that's pretty positive. I can help them in that line. I feel it's a pretty positive thing.
And those are the ones.
But the downside to that is, you don't want to get a short time,
Employee.
where they're just, hey, I'm here for a check and that's that. Because
But
that
those
comes
are
up.
usually excluded because they want to be good. They're here for a reason. They want to learn because they want to grow, so they got to learn.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So there's a way to, like I was saying earlier, develop a program to where you're feeding people like that into your service. So when one is fixing to go out to go to med school or PA school, you have another one coming
Three
in.
more coming in.
But that's where some partnerships and things like that would need to come in play. And like Hoover was saying, all of our employees are great and wonderful, but some of the ones that come in as wanting to be PA students and things like that are normally top notch.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want them to leave, but
Yeah.
they leave.
Let's not mention your favorite subject, Shane. The generation has changed. The proof is in the pudding. We all came, granted, I was a little behind y'all, but we all came in the same time frame, man. Look at us now.
Yeah.
I'm almost 20 years, you guys, this years of experience. But we had a different mindset. We was taught different. We was brought up a little stronger. And I feel that's maybe why I'm still kind of strong when it comes to my leadership method, because it wasn't completely bad. Yes, you could talk to people a little different, or you don't have to be a complete, but hey, I need you to do it. Helps people grow. It's just a different drive. It's a different learning. It's different goals. It's different. It's not employees. It's just times change, and it literally people don't even know how to put keys in the truck sometimes because their car takes push to start. You know, it's little stuff like that. Hey, I can't tell somebody to put oil in their trunk. They don't even put oil in their own car.
And it ain't that they don't have the knowledge. They just they grow up in a time where they don't have to do it.
Exactly.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. We talk quite a bit. I know Shane and I will call each other on our off days to catch up on different things that are going on. And Mark and Hoover and I, we all talk. Mm-hmm. I don't think the crews realize we talk as much as we do, and that we kind of know what's going on the other shifts and with different people when there's crossover for sure. And I don't know if we want to do this question, but I'll throw it out there, see what you think, because I can cut all this out. But what do you think the crews are saying? Let's stick with the positive elements. Positive elements here. What do you think crews are saying to you about me or to me about you? What do you think that might be? This could go really wrong.
It could.
My shift says that I have the best shift.
It's not about your shift.
And your shift calls us the bastards because B's for best on mine, and for you it's the B.
Yeah.
It's fun and games. We get a good laugh.
I'm a B shifter. I think it all boiled down to the fact that no matter what they say in many words, they're saying we're getting the job done in our own way.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, whether they agree with it or not, we all have our own dynamic, and we all do a damn good job at it. We done dealt with multiple leadership changes.
Yeah.
And one thing we tried to do is all four of us has tried to keep our shift the exact same, not bring that drama to the streets or try to filter it out. So I honestly don't entertain it, because at the end of the day, yeah, you may not like me, but it's working.
Yeah.
And there are many more people that may do appreciate what you're not going to make everybody happy. That's impossible.
Yeah. You're never going to make everybody
Never.
You're
You
gonna,
might as well
if
get
you
that
try
out.
to make everybody happy, you're going to be miserable.
Pretty much.
But you know what? When somebody calls me and I know they're shopping around for an answer, I just call Shane. You know it, right? I just call Shane up. Hey, what's going on with this situation? Or what about this? And we'll talk it out. And we do that same thing at night.
Me and Mark text. I text Mark, hey, somebody is saying this. Let me check with you first.
Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it.
especially,
And
it's
they
gonna
may
be your
slip one
shift,
by
so-
us.
Exactly. It's his shift. I'm not about to change any. Listen, what you're telling me to change, I'm going to be home. Let's not make that decision. Let the guy that's on shift make that decision. Because it ain't going to affect me at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, just being raw with you.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I say that during the course of a week where I'm going to let Mark make that decision. Yeah. Can I go home? I don't have a partner. I'm going to let Mark make that
I
decision.
do that.
That affects
a
him.
whole lot.
I do that too. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry. But Shane, you're 7:30. Shane comes in at 7. Let's just wait about 5-10 more minutes and let him make that decision.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not really affecting me, but it could affect you.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what
Absolutely.
the system's going to be like at 7:30.
Yep. And I mean, it could change in 30 minutes, an hour. It can start changing. You can start seeing call volume increase, and maybe you need to throw that person on the truck with somebody.
Yeah, it happens a lot with
Somebody
the
calls it.
mid-shift people like they get off at 10, or if they don't have a partner, they'll be trying to leave, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I have to say, no, we got to wait a little while. Probably we got to wait and let Hoover make the decision.
Yeah.
And things are good. Hoover might let him leave, but it's his. He still has them for like, I don't know, 4.5, 5 more hours after I'm gone. So.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
that could-
funny thing that people don't know we're talking like. Because the midday shift be the biggest. Because you get 2 supervisors. If the first one say no, of course you can just wait on the second one. Only problem is I'm calling the I'm calling my relief or the other supervisor to ask. They under the impression that we don't talk at all.
Yeah. I know with Mark will come in and we'll be going over different things that are happening throughout the day and giving him a status update. And we'll very frequently go over the numbers from what happened during the day shift, how much do you need to do before midnight, and we may have a slower day. And part of our conversation will be, it's going to be, you got a lot of ground to cover before midnight. We'll have a very frank conversation. I'm like, I don't think you're going to make it. We're not going to make it the next day.
The funniest thing is the fact that y'all on the other shift and we do the same thing and not even knowing it.
But I'll come in the next morning and Mark will be like, we got killed. Blew through the numbers. I'm like, you blew through the numbers.
Oh, that sounds like
That sounds exactly
Well,
the
there'll be
same.
times where I'm like, I hope we don't make it because we'd have to do like a crazy amount of transports in order to do it. But then, like, half the time I say that, it ends up happening.
Yeah. And then Mark will be like, I ran 4 calls before midnight. I'm like, wow. Didn't think that was going to happen.
That's fun. That's just put it in perspective. Y'all on the whole different shift, and we don't talk about it. That's not in our. That's what we need to do every shift. That's just it just happens. Like the communication is key.
Yeah.
But it's literally the same thing. Because I'd be like, man, Shane would be like, well, we had a slow day. Hey, we'll pick it up tonight. We'll try to get some transports in, cut a couple of unit hours. We'll even it out because I look at the night shift as the cleanup crew today.
Yeah.
These daytimers don't get it. Got to clean up after.
There's one thing I do call Shane about quite a bit is I think he's got probably the best knowledge and understanding of policies and procedures, and certainly the history of how we got to where we are with a certain policy. Nobody, I think, here has a better understanding of that
Not at all.
than Shane. And Hoover, man, you strap those radios on, you go out on the road. I don't think anybody's more dialed into what's happening in the system at any given point in time. And you're coming right up on that radio every single time. And Mark, man, the way he responds, if the system's getting busy, he hops on the truck and takes the pressure off. If the crews are, even if it's not a busy night, but we get a discharge in, he'll just go and run the discharge so the crews don't have to. They can have some downtime. And he's that connected, I think, to his shift and his group. And we all do it a little bit differently, but we're all doing the same job. And we all understand the challenges each one of us face at the beginning and middle and end of a shift every day. And I think it's really a unique team we have here. You guys do a great job every day. And I've learned something from every one of you guys in what we do. And it's interesting, Eve's covering tonight while we're in here doing this. She's the designated survivor for the night.
Absolutely.
And I see her doing a little bit of everything each one of us do during the course of the shift. And the way she was pressing crews in service tonight, unbelievable. She's come a long way. All of them have. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have one. That's just, I feel like, I just want to acknowledge the fact that the crews, specifically in our area, are having to do a lot more with a lot less and a lot busier. And it's gradually worked into that. Just that at least, I know all 4 of us in this room, we see the hard work they're doing and it's appreciated.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
much so.
We're doing what we can for you. Never in our conversations with management and things, we're trying to make it the best place to work that we can.
I think we all know we can't do it without the crews. We only one person.
You made an excellent point when you said we're doing what we can for you. I think all of us have stood up for our crews from time to time with upper management when it comes to call volume, things of that nature, safety, any little thing.
That was one of the coolest EMS of all time.
It was good.
All four of us stood up. Man. All of us, everybody that was involved. That was a pretty cool EMS week.
That was a good one.
It was.
I'm just one of the luckiest. I've always been lucky, but I just count myself as a very lucky person. We've got some great crews here. They're incredibly smart. They're very talented. These newer paramedics coming out today are so far beyond where I was when I started.
Jam up.
Yeah, they're just that great. And I work with probably some of the greatest guys here, and the leaders we have are unbelievable. Very, very fortunate. And to be able to move from Boston down here and get started in this system, I had a lot to learn, and each one of you helped me out in doing that. And I appreciate you guys very much.
You learned, what was it you learned to say a lot of? Dang it, what was it? You used to tell me there's a word you picked up from the South.
Fixing? I'm
Maybe
fixing to
it
do.
was something.
What was it?
Yeah, I forgot what it was. It was something you said. I said, you're picking up on it.
I remember I was on nights when I first came down here.
Yeah, you were my supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're leaving.
I remember somebody telling me, they said, you know, when you come up on the radio and you're telling the battalion chief something and there's a bit of a delay before they answer you, it's because they're trying to figure out what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, get you talking fast. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Just sit back and laugh.
You know, if you hear my wife talk, she's from Boston proper. Good Lord, you'd be surprised. I know some of you have.
I have.
Yeah. Her accent is thick.
Oh, wow.
And she travels a lot for business, but yeah.
I do have a last thought. Honestly, I just want to put it out there. We are human. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're not perfect, but we are trying. And that's one thing I don't think crews understand. You're stressed out. Think of your stress times 10 because I have 10 other employees that's just as stressed out. We have the same problems. At the end of the day, we are paramedics also. We have the struggles and we understand. And like sometimes we may forget about it or just get misguided by the mission. But honestly, it doesn't take the fact that we are in tune and we have the same problems and we are human. They may have expectations through the roof. We can only get you to the ceiling because that's all we got. We only get 12 hours.
Yeah.
And we gotta make it home too. And yes, we don't mind taking all the mental health from you, but we also have family and loved ones to go home to that don't deserve that. Brought home also. So I guess I say that to say if you come in as an employee and one of us are not having a bad day, that's maybe the time where you need to step in. Hey, Hoover, what's going on? You okay? Check on leadership because being in this position, I realized that we have nobody.
Me and Jay's talked about this before.
We the left ear for the crews and the right ear for the upper management, but all that's doing is confusing what's in the middle and hurting what's in the middle, which is your brain and heart.
Yeah.
And it's a different type of hurt. It ain't that we run a bad call or something like that. It's you feel like a crew member's upset with you, and you're like, I did the best I could. I did what I could do,
and still failed or let them down.
Yeah.
And there's a limited resource of your peers to speak to, and the resource is right here. It's us. Jay's mentioned that to me in the past. We are we've called and talked for an hour or two about different things.
And what's funny, because when we talk on the phone, Shane, if you're working, I can hear the radios going on. I can hear the tone, right? Your phone is ringing, and I'm like, I'm going to let you go. Because you're trying to hang in there with me. We're talking about, you're trying to hang in there, but I just know you're going underwater the longer you spend.
I'm sure that's better than me waking him up at 11 o'clock at night. Like, hey, bud, I need to vent for a second. Oh, sorry.
There's nobody to vent to in the middle of the night.
Nobody.
You're it.
No.
And if something really catastrophic happens,
something did.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Something did.
Holy God Almighty! Yeah.
Can you imagine dealing with that? That was a first for me.
Yeah.
And can you imagine dealing with that on your own, trying to call people and
You're it.
I'll say that's a first for you and not a first for me yet. That's something that probably nobody is. We won't get into detail, but nobody else in this room has probably dealt with.
Yeah, I have.
No, I have not.
God, that was like,
It didn't even make the top of the call.
that's like and you were it, man. You had to call those
Only
shots.
person.
You had to take care of that crew members.
First person on scene, first person to help them. PD thought we were BSing until that whole call was just crazy.
God.
Yeah, and you have nobody. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm taking care of my crew. Y'all going home. I'm gonna stay right beside you. But I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing. I'm just as in it as you are, and we have experience. We done probably dealt with it lots before, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing because we have so much baggage.
That's 1 in 90 years, that call right there.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, you was there, you witnessed it. But another thing, at least with me, even though I may not have been there, I like made it to the hospital when it was all said and done. I still hurt for them.
Hurt.
The crew members.
Crew members hearing that. You just hurt. You just feel that pain. Like,
Can't even imagine it.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine what that's like.
Well, that's one of those things. Like, you don't know what to, and I still working on, like, when you run into that, what can you say?
and to be honest, the only thing that kept me, like you said, what am I supposed to do at this point? I took care of my crew. I knew I couldn't go wrong with making sure they okay.
Yeah.
And doing whatever I can to make sure that we were sitting out there for some hours because of the investigation. And can I go to the restroom? Can I go get some coffee? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
It's the ground, that foundation of just, I didn't even have to think about it. It just automatically, let's take care of our crew. Because I know they just went through one of the worst calls in their life that they probably would have in their career. Yeah. I just want to bring that. I get you think we all are superheroes, but we're not. We have the same problems. We have stress, the same circumstances, probably a little more enhanced. And just be mindful of that when you bring in your problems, those little petty problems, or I don't know, like when you're growing up, that brother, sister, love tap in. Now I'm going to go tell mom. Be mindful of what you bring to us. Is it really worth adding that stress onto something that's already stressed out?
Yeah. I know when I'm working or I have to work the next day, I'm probably up 4 or 5 times during that night.
Yeah.
Just coming in here. It's so much.
Yeah. It takes a toll.
And you think about it, right? When you get a situation like the one you had, you've got senior leadership calling you, our immediate leadership calling us, dispatchers calling you, crews calling you, and you're trying to manage a horrific situation.
While trying to speed there in the drive cam.
Yeah, and the damn drive cam.
Trying to get there, but you still gotta remember, you gotta drive cam.
And something else that probably should have been done.
Yeah, Shane, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to do that to somebody.
I was wondering where this was going.
So this is a failure, I guess, probably on my part, and I just thought of it, to be honest with you. Something else that should have happened is somebody should have came in to take over some of the leadership because you was tied up.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
So while I'm dealing with that, like you said, don't get it twisted. Those phones were still ringing. Hey, where my truck is missing? I'm like, yo, you don't have a clue what I'm on right now. Can you just give me a minute?
Yeah.
Just give me a minute. I had the pastor or the chaplain come over. Yo, I caught you staring. Are you okay? Because it just hit me because I'm sitting here looking at this and he caught me. It got me.
Yeah.
And the phones kept ringing. Level 0 key is still going to happen because it's going to keep moving.
Yeah.
The world don't stop.
Everything keeps going.
Calls
keep going.
Yeah. Calls keep coming in.
I think that's where the team come into play, dispatch, and being able to relieve some of the stress or make some decisions. Just working as a team, having that team power. That's the only thing that got us through that day. Crews understood everybody's tied up. Let's just do our part and go in service, or let's hurry up and relieve the stress off the system to help them out. I can't even put that crew in that truck anymore.
Yeah.
That's wild. It is.
Yeah. And you had one of those too, Mark, right?
Not exactly like that.
No, but the crew doesn't want to go back in that truck.
No, I mean, I've had a couple of those where I wouldn't even say, oh, she will now. Yeah, she won't go back in that truck.
That VID.
There's a couple of situations like that. We have 2 in particular situations, and I honor that request, and I'll keep honoring it
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, I
Without
agree
a
with you
doubt.
guys.
Without a doubt.
How do you ask somebody to get back in that unit when it has so much
I had a situation.
terrible things tied to it?
That's real. PSD is,
That's real.
it's real.
Well, and that truck for certain crews has had some significant bad things happen for whatever reason.
PTSD, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
left out the T.
We see so many of our friends, so many of our coworkers suicidal. This job is big on that.
I mean, I'm sure it happens to all of us, but I can just be riding down the road and all of a sudden think of a situation. And it's there for a minute or two and it goes away, but it comes.
Oh, there's not a street in Atlanta I can go on that I can't remember a call I ran on that street.
Yeah.
And it just flashbacks, like you're right there.
It don't stay long.
Yeah,
at least with me, but it does come back.
Yeah.
It ain't
makes
even
me
got to
like
be
it.
the same street. I can just be just
I don't
totally
mind.
doing whatever, and it'll just pop in your head for a second.
Yeah.
So-
Nancy Wessel, who's a critical incident stress debriefer, was telling me during her podcast that many leaders are leading through past traumas, and as a result of that,
100%.
don't actually see the trauma that the crew is experiencing. It's getting blocked.
Well, I mean, I say, yeah, yes and no to that. But I do think you talk about like the guys that were supervisors I dealt with in the early 2000s that had been in it since the late 70s, early 80s. They didn't have a healthy relationship with what they'd gone through when they'd like stick a cup of coffee up on the dash and be like, if you spill that, I'm going to kick your ass. And that's how you learned how to like drive smoothly.
Did it work?
It did work. Yeah. I mean, all those methods work. But as far as like traditional hazing and stuff,
Yeah, that's not good.
it was not good, but
No.
Effective, though.
it did work.
Not good, but effective.
Yeah.
But getting to that, a lot of speaking of early like 80s and 90s firefighters and things of that nature, they're and EMS, police, everybody. That adrenaline's still there all those years, but once they retire, there's a high suicide rate because they got time to sit back and think of all that stuff then.
Yeah.
And that's the people that were hard-nosed, suck-it-up buttercup type people. And I think that's one of the, it's changing, even in fire and PD, that the mental health aspect of public safety is changing to where if something's bothering you, hopefully you're going to feel more entertained to bring it up and not just not say nothing, because that used to be it.
That's
you
really
was
the cool
weak.
thing about growing up in working in two different eras. Because I got to see that side of the hard nose, and I see the evolution of EMS because I'm still on the truck now. And man, that's one of the biggest changes that has happened that is improving.
And I can say leadership is a part of that. Training and leadership amongst public safety. One of the first things we ask is, are you okay? I've had people think I was trying to get them in service. I said, I'm not worried about that right now at all. I'm just worried about y'all.
Yeah.
And back in the time, when times were different, that probably wouldn't have been asked.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want any of my people carrying around some of the things I carry around.
I don't want them. Yeah, I don't want you to have this mindset.
No,
like you said, black cloud. I'm the king
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Gosh.
It hasn't stopped. I'm still on the road.
Yeah. What final question, I guess, or final topic? After all these years, what keeps you coming back? That one makes you think, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. What after all these years, what keeps you coming back?
I like being able to help people. I feel that even though we're in a leadership role, the way it comes down to our team, we're still able to help. We're helping our team, and that's helping provide better for our community. And I just enjoy helping people. I think we all do, but
And you're about one of the fairest guys
And
I know, Shane.
I don't like to toot the horn, but I'm as selfless as you can get.
Yeah.
When I come to work, none of it is ever about me.
Yeah.
It's about the people. I hope they realize it, but if they don't, they can hear it now. It's nothing's about me. I put my pants on every morning just like they do. I'm no different than anybody. I'm no different than the lowest paid person here or the highest paid person here.
Just want to make a difference. That's it. If I make one difference, that's it. Not to mention the adrenaline. I like going like this. I'm still young. Leave me alone. I still get hyped up about the dramatics of the EMS.
So, I mean, I still love it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, but I Also, just want to, in the same way when I was working on the truck, I try to pass on stuff to my partner. And then working in this role, I'm still trying to pass on what knowledge I can and help what I can to the next generation coming up.
Yeah, we're bringing up the next
Yeah.
generation.
So the mindset was as far as time, like our job is to really take care of the crews, and then the crews take care of the patients.
That's something I had to learn when you come up into administration. Your job is not patient care. That's not our primary role no more. It's literally take care of our crews. So happy crews, happy patients. That's wow.
I think some days I leave here and I drive home, and I've got a bit of a drive, and it depends on the day, right? If there's a big scene or an interesting call or something that I've been a part of, I think, God, I love this. How can you not? Maybe it's the driving, maybe it's managing that chaos.
Like crews come in and say, hey, how was your night? And I'm always telling them it was a good night. As long as everybody go home, everybody got a smile on their face, it's going to always be a good night. Calls don't dictate my night. We're busy. Hey, we're saving that many more people. We're making that much more of a difference. It's actually fun to me when we're busy, but I don't like people having bad days. But having the opportunity to make that difference, being busy that don't dictate the shift. Is everybody happy? Is everybody in good spirit? Did everybody go home on time?
Yeah, I think we all want people to come into work and enjoy it. Yeah. That want to come in, want to be here, want to be a part of the team.
Because we all know how fun this job can be.
Yeah.
You don't stay nowhere all these years somewhere where you're miserable.
Yeah.
You know, we know how good and fun and passionate this job can be if you just let us show you.
Yeah.
You know, and if we don't do it, you got babies training babies then.
Yeah.
The blonde leading the blonde. And you can't, it's hard to go up with that.
Well, guys, thank you for coming in and doing this.
It's been awesome.
And Mark, I know you got to relieve the designated survivor back there.
Yeah, I got to go start.
Appreciate you guys doing this. I know we've talked about doing it for a little bit, and I think we should do this on the regular.
Yeah, you could do monthly or bi-monthly.
Quarterly.
Yeah.
Quarterly.
Go grab a drink.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we do. We don't do it here next time. We pick a place where we can relax a little bit more. And
Just want to say I love you all. I love you all.
Love you guys.
I
too.
love you.
Love you too.
Love you guys. And when I turn off the recorder here, we're going to talk about the employees.
Raw.
Thank you for listening to In Service, the EMS podcast, where frontline experience meets leadership insight. If you have found value in this conversation, please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You will find links in the episode notes.